In today's video, we are giving you a behind-the-scenes tour of a huge Christmas light display that we used to do at our house every year with over 60,000 LEDs, and it was all synchronized to music and broadcast wirelessly to your car, and you would sit in your car and listen to the songs as lights dance to the music. Now, if you've never seen our display before, let me show you a quick couple of samples here. So this first one is going to be Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Okay, so that was pretty cool. This next one is the THX trailer. Notice how complex the lighting is to the music sequences. Or in this case, sound effects. This was one of our more popular sequences that people would like to sit in their cars in front of the house and just watch it. So this Christmas Wonderland project was a massive engineering project, kind of like the Manhattan Project for Christmas lights. And we used to have to enlist the help of about a dozen teens to help us set up all of this because it would create a huge mess in the front yard and on the street, and we'd have to rent a cherry picker. And so we'd get all these teens in here and we would start working the Monday before Thanksgiving. And usually by the Thanksgiving weekend we would be pretty much done. But here you can see some different scenes of us setting up. How it took many hands to make light work. We would have people up on the roofs, people working down on the ground, people working in the garage. We would set up bucket brigades to bring everything down from the attic and the garage. It's a very, very complex setup here. Everything is computerized. Also, our display was locally famous, so we often had the news camped out in front of our house here. So here, for example, you can see Channel 10 News was broadcasting live. On this day, they were actually here before sunrise because they were doing a story that we were featured on Good Morning America, where people across the country were logging in on their website to vote on our house. So let's listen into what she's saying.
Find out if this Margate family, if this home will win the final final. This is how fantastic that light display is. We had mentioned earlier there are over 60,000 lights here, all synchronized to the music. In fact, I'm gonna stand a little bit closer to the speaker so you can hear it. Now, all of these lights are 100% LED technology. As we mentioned, these lights coordinate with the music, and the songs are actually transmitted about 200 feet from your car when you drive by, so it's not really loud for those.
So there were numerous occasions where different people from the TV stations would come and broadcast live right from our setup here during the evening news. So we were always a popular attraction locally for both the news and for people just coming by. So we've had every major news outlet here at the house: Channel 4, Channel 6, Channel 10. And here is when Good Morning America featured us on their website. Here's a live interview.
With the Ostroff family and 47,000 lights, give or take a couple, of LED lighting. Look at that, the whole neighborhood's come out for holiday homes. Details on that and the chilly night ahead, my forecast straight ahead.
It's not just all about the light.
No, it's not about the lights. It's also about the music. CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist David Bernard is the conductor of this one here. How's it work, David?
Hey, it is going great, Elliot, and as you so aptly explained, they have coordinated the light display with the music as well, and it's way too complicated for me to explain, so I'm going to get Jeff Ostroff to explain it to us in just a minute, who put the whole thing together. First, some South Florida weather, and so far today, well, it's been cooler than it has been around here. Incredible display. you basically have lit up the entire neighborhood, that's for sure. This is LED lighting. Why is that significant, Jeff?
Well, this is significant because LED lighting draws 1/5 of the current of a regular light bulb.
And so, well, and it's environmentally friendly, I guess you could say. You're not using near as much energy, and I think you're getting more power to the punch there. As you can see, it's really bright. Cornelius, why don't you show us some of the lights over there, and we'll talk a little bit more about how big this display is and how long it took you to put all together, and tell us about the music people will hear when they drive by your house.
Well, we transmit on 100.9, which is an unused radio station. It goes a couple hundred feet. So when you pull up in your car, you tune your car radio to 100.9, and you'll hear all the songs that we're playing here.
And so, again, you have it on 100.9, which is basically an unused radio display, radio station, right? And so you can only get it if you're, like, right here at the house.
Right, it goes up to about the stop sign, 200 feet up the road.
All right, that's really cool. How many people have been going by? And I know you're also collecting money as well.
As we continue our Holiday Homes tour, meteorologist Jennifer Gray is live in Margate with tonight's home.
Hi, Jackie. This is unbelievable. This is Jeff Ostroff, and he is the guy on the block. I promise. You're the most popular guy here with your fantastic display, and this is something that you have got to see. Every light here is an LED light. And how long does it take you to do this?
Well, about a week or so. We start the day before Thanksgiving and get most of it up that weekend. But I've been incrementally adding to it every day since then.
And every year, does it keep getting bigger and better?
Yeah, we had 26,000 last year. We have 47,000 lights this year.
Oh my goodness, and you have music out here. If you drive by and turn it to 100.9 FM, the lights synchronize with the music, and you did all of that yourself.
Right, we synchronize everything with special software.
And you store it all here at your house?
Yeah, and I have a loft above mics for every minute of music to do it.
Wow, unbelievable, quite a task. And you have 16 songs, you say, and you also have a telescope out here, so when people drive by, they can look at the moon and the planets, right?
Right, bring your kids out. We've got the moon and Mars up tonight, perfectly clear out.
Unbelievable. And so how long is it going to take you to take all this down now?
Gravity works in your favor when you take it down, so it all comes down in about 6 hours. Garage, it fits it all up in there perfectly.
And you said that this is going to save you a lot of money, right?
Right, the LEDs draw about 1/5 the power of a regular string of lights. And plus, since they're synchronized to music, at any given time, half the lights are on, half the lights are off.
Wow, and so you say your bill's only going to probably go up about $100, and that's it, with this on every single night.
Right, that's what we expect.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us to your house. It was definitely quite the show, and let's get to your weather maps now, because the temperatures are going to...
The city mayor and the commissioners used to also drive around in a fire engine and a bunch of police cars in tow, and they would judge all of the houses. And we were winning so much that we had to actually stop entering the contest so that other houses could win. They would also bring Santa Claus with them, and it was always exciting to see him get out and greet all the kids that would come by to visit. We also used to have a massive telescope set up out front, and we would set it up for people to come look at usually the moon or Jupiter. So you can see we had a lot of innovative, one-of-a-kind contraptions, and we built and designed every one of these ourselves. These are all custom. And the inside of the house was decorated just as much as we did the outside of the house too. So here you can see all of the table settings, and we did everything up to the pure Christmas theme. Here is our donation box. Here we collect the food here. People can drop food in the bin. This is the custom mailbox that I built. I got it from Home Depot and I painted it. Added my own signs. Here's my Blue Nile River that goes up the driveway. And the beautiful covering on the garage door. So here's one of my controllers on the lawn here. This handles both of these arches. Here's our new mega tree. We redesigned it this year and rebuilt it from the ground up using threaded metal pipe for the core to give it better strength. Here's the view inside the bottom of the tree. Let's take a look inside. In the middle here is my bag that covers my 3 controllers. We'll show that in a minute. There's the couplers that uncouple the tree so that we can take it apart and we lower it with the cherry picker. And these are all metal pipes that we painted black, and then these are the strobes. These screw into C9 sockets. So we buy a string of C9 lights and we just screw these into it. And inside under the controllers, this is where all of our light strings plug in. We made our own little patch bay there for them. Just a wiring hodgepodge down here inside the tree. There's all our vertical super strings. As you can see here, we made these super strings out of red, white, blue, and green strings that we strung together using a jig that I made. And if you look at our other videos, you'll see it, how to make the super strings. They take up a lot less space here because, as you can see, they're all wrapped around into one single strand instead of having 4 separate strings for red, blue, white, and green. Here's our Charlie Brown lawn yard art. And new for this year was our Frosty the Snowman inflatable. And as usual, for 5 years we've had this arbor going here with the nutcrackers. Bought that at Costco for $350 back in 2005. And also new this year was our Disney stocking that you see up there by the window. And then these, of course, I call my Bellagio fountains. They're all synchronized to the music as well. And if we come over here a little bit and take a look, here's our controller for it. And check this hodgepodge mess out, huh? There's a rat's nest for you folks. Try keeping track of that. So they all plug into here. They're all controlled by one channel here. Not by one channel, by one controller. Then we have another controller over here that controls the back end of my Ferris wheel here that I made. And of course we do everything professional here. Everything here's got, the cables are all tied together with tie cords here. And we just plug them onto the back of all of the net lights. Anyway, zooming back into our stocking, that's the one we bought at Costco. That is new this year. Right next to it is my Ramsey 30B transmitter. You can see it there with a little antenna sticking up. It's got a green LED on the box there. That's how I send everything to the vehicles wirelessly to your stereo so that you can hear the music while you watch my lights dance to the music. And as you can see here, the cherry picker has arrived. It's time to tear down our display. This is going to be coming down tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. All my Santa's helpers will be here to help us tear it all down. So you can see we try to build our display so that it is very much a Christmas wonderland during the day as it is during the night. And here's the view from above, looking down from the cherry picker. It's always a great view, interesting view looking from up here. There's the mega tree. And there's the mega tree going at it from above. Looks really cool, huh? There's all our mini trees going at it there. Snowflake cascades kicking in there. I moved it up so that we could...
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because everybody's always asking, how do you get your car in there?
Right.
You always ask, how do you get your car in there? Well, that's how. It fits on the left side and the junk fits on the right. And the door just goes up when I need it to. That telescope's coming out tonight because it's looking pretty clear out tonight. The big scope. Here's the backside view of the Snowflake cascade. As it's starting to get dark. And you can see how we hold it up against the tree up there with just the blue strap, cargo strap. And the pole just comes right down to the ground. This would be a perfect time, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button down below. And once you hit that subscribe button, you'll see that little gray bell. Click on that, and that will alert you to every time we put a new video so that you'll never miss a video. And also, if you like our video here, you can click on the thumbs up button down below. That lets us know that you like us. And any questions you have, please enter them in the comments down below too. And I get questions all the time about my display, so I thought I would do this video tour, this behind the scenes tour for you. So let's get started. What you're going to look at first here is this is a vinyl banner that's on my garage door. It's a mural that I bought off eBay 2 years ago. That really set off a firestorm on the Planet Christmas forums because everybody wanted to get their hands on one of these. It's really nice. Clips to the top and the bottom. And this right here you're looking at is the gingerbread house at the end of my driveway that all the women rant and rave about when they drive by. And then on the right side of it here, you'll see Santa and the kids here. This was really nice. I got this at Sam's Club for $45. About the week before Christmas. It was marked down 75%. This is the Blue Nile River of Lights on my driveway. It's made up of 2,200 LEDs. Here's what the garage looks like. It's a complete mess, especially a couple of days after Christmas. Here's my big telescope over there. Sometimes we bring that out on the driveway for the people that come by to visit. So here's the garage door coming down. You can see it comes down very easily. It clips under the bottom there. The mural also clips over the top of the garage door as well. That's what holds it on nice and snug. And these are my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs coming down the left side of the driveway here. Now this here you can see is a cool idea I had come up with. What I do is I roll down screen onto the grass and then I lay all my lights down on the screen. That way they're all visible. They don't sink down into the grass, and when it rains the rain just goes right through the screen and it goes down to the grass. So it keeps the lights from getting wet and tripping the ground fault as well. And these are all my little outlet covers that I make on here to protect all my string where they connect. There's another one right there. And then over here is like the main power distribution center for this little section here. So everything's just pretty well covered from the rain. I do that with all of my cords. So one of the first things that greets you when you arrive here is my sign that tells you to tune in to 100.9. And this was a sign that we had. It's got backlit vinyl that I had ordered online. And then I built this entire wooden enclosure around it using parts from Home Depot. Like the posts here are your typical fence posts. Here's your caps, and I used a floor beading down there to make the red there. Did some fancy corbels here from the kitchen aisle there at Home Depot. And I got my little radio on top there just so I can hear the sound, so I know my system is running. And here's the back of the enclosure here. And then what I did was I got a lock. I built a lock thing on there at the bottom there so I can lock this thing up so nobody can get it. And the whole thing is backlit with 2 rope light LEDs. Now here's the centerpiece of our whole yard right here, the mega tree. This is what everybody says is their favorite part. This is 10 feet tall, 12 feet if you count the star at the top there. And there's 13,000 LEDs on this tree here. We have multiple super strings that we made on each channel, redundant super strings. So if one string goes out, you'll never even notice it. So you can see here's one of the super strings. What we did was we took strings of red, green, blue, and white regular strings, and I invented this tool, which you've probably seen on some of my other videos. We invented the tool that braids these up together like a propeller blade. It does a really good job. And then we made a whole bunch of these strings and just wrapped them around the tree. Oh, here's my C9 strobes that I got from Daryl when I got the Mega Tree kit. Now keep in mind, I made a lot of design changes to Daryl's original design because I added a lot of weight to this tree, so it needs a lot of more structure support. And what you can see I did inside here, see these vertical couplers here? This way here, the upper part of the tree can unscrew and the whole thing comes apart. And I made more of these support structures here. You see that little crossway there? I made probably 4 or 5 of these things going up the tree. And then I have my things numbered here so that we know which component goes to which when we go to screw the tree back together there. See, so there's 1 and there's 4. So that's how we know what goes where when we go to put it all back together. And of course in the middle of the tree here, that's my bag. That's holding the 3 controllers, 48 channels on this tree. That's why I can make this tree do so many tricks, and the people are just amazed. They sit there and they watch in amazement when they see all the stuff you can do with 48 channels. It's unbelievable. Highly recommend it. Okay, now here's a clever trick I did too. If you look up near the top of the tree here, this is where all of my plugs hang. So what I did was I cut a big square piece of plexiglass, which you could barely see hanging right there, sticking out. So it's basically covering the core, so any rain that comes down doesn't land directly on my plugs up there. That works out really great. This tree has never tripped the ground fault, which is really nice. We only get 3 days of rain in December, so I don't even fight it anymore. I just bring out 1 cord from the garage. One outlet will drive this entire show because it's all on LEDs, so I don't sweat like everybody else does. It's the beauty of LEDs. People can sit there and complain all they want about the price, but man, the savings in electricity is unbelievable. And here's another one of my struts right here on the outside. So I put the couplers on the wings here as well. Yeah, everybody else also loves my little Christmas arbor here, made with the nutcrackers, the soldiers. I bought this at Costco for $350 back in 2006. This thing is gorgeous. Here's a close-up view of what the soldiers look like here. This one's very popular with our visitors. And here you can see I have 2 large arches and 2 small arches. Each one of the larger arches has about 2,200 LEDs on it. 8 channels of white, 8 channels of blue. And the smaller arches have about 1,700 LEDs on them. And then you can see I built various poles here made out of PVC pipe that I call my Bellagio fountains. I got my inspiration from seeing the Bellagio fountains out in Vegas. The biggest pole here is made with a 4-inch PVC pipe, and I bought a toilet flange connector there at Home Depot and just screwed it right to the board there, and that's what's holding this puppy up, and it does a great job of holding it up too. We built this in 2 5-foot sections, so one just stacks up on top of the other, and you can see we have it pretty densely populated with lights there, and it goes way up. Now the other poles here are all made with the 1.5-inch PVC. And what we do is we spray paint them all black before we wrap them with the lights. And I did them with the tater twister and some with the drill. And this is the controller that I'm using for these particular items here. This one's controlling the 2 of the arches and several of the Bellagio fountain poles. And look at this, folks. There is the mother of all rat's nests. It's unbelievable that any of this still works, because just look at the way these things are all plugged in. And that's just one of them. We have a second one that looks just like that as well. And you can see I always lock all of my controllers so nobody can get them. They're all connected together. And of course, what display would not be complete without Homer? Dow! Homer claws. Okay, here's the view from the right side of the house, looking at all the Bellagio fountains and the arches with the mega tree in the background. Here you can see is a second version of my sign. This was a prototype that we had made. We just decided to use it as a second sign to allow people from the other direction to know to tune in as well. And then here on the lawn you can see we have the Peanuts, the famous scene from the Charlie Brown Christmas where they're singing around the tree. I bought all of these off eBay. By the way, if you ever buy any wood and yard art, don't in a million years buy 1/4 inch. Always buy 1/2 inch thick, because it was a real pain to get these things to hold any kind of wood or stakes or anything to stick them into the ground. You gotta have 1/2 inch. And then here's my Snoopy one, and what I did with this one was I drilled holes in it and put my own LEDs in there. I did this back in 2007. Looks really cool at night. So here's what I had to do on the back of these 1/4 inch pieces to get them to work. It was a real pain in the butt. I had to glue and screw these big boards down, because even the smallest screws that you just can't get any grab into this 1/4 inch wood, and the 1/4 inch wood will potato chip on you real quick in the rain. So this is what I did. Got one of these brackets here with a long bolt, and it just spikes into the ground a little bit, but they held up okay this year with my new redesign on the back. This right here is the Mac Daddy of my display. This is what everybody really loves, in addition to the Mega Tree. This is the Snowflake Cascade. It's got 14 snowflakes that go up and curve around there between my two palm trees. The whole structure is 18 feet tall. So this one is very similar to what Richard Holdman had at his house. Him and I traded some ideas back and forth here about what to do with this. He hung his on his house by ropes, or I think there were strings or something like that, wires maybe. And mine's in a windier area, so I need to have real good support. So what I did was I built this whole structure on PVC pipes, and I bolted them on to the PVC pipes, and then we put the structure up. It's in 4 sections. So getting a little closer here, you can see what I did was I bolted these guys right on using washers right onto the PVC pipe. So I spray painted the PVC pipe black. Now it looks very obvious here in the daytime, but at night you really don't see the pipe at all. It's amazing. So the way this works is I just basically have it standing on a brick at the bottom there, the PVC pipe, a vertical section here that's got four snowflakes on it. And then there's a 45-degree elbow right there. And you can see it traverses up that diagonal part there, where it meets up in that point right up there. And it's called a Y. It's spelled W-Y-E. And it's a very special piece that has a vertical component and then a 45-degree angle component. And they sell them at Home Depot. It's right there with all the other PVC pieces. And then this is, I believe it's a 2-inch section coming down that we did. 2-inch vertical, 2-inch PVC pipe coming all the way down, and it's a vertical segment, and it just rests comfortably on the ground. So it doesn't really take much to hold this thing up. And then over here you can see we used cargo straps just to hold them in place to the tree to make sure it doesn't really budge anywhere. Okay, so here's the back side of it, and you can see what we did was we just, ran the lines, all the power lines down the PVC pipes here. And then when we got to the bottom, the ones that would reach, and the other ones we made custom length extension cords, which you can see right here. And it just goes right over to the controller. So here's another look from behind here. And up into the top there's another cargo strap that we use to hold it to the tree. And just run all the power cables down. And here you can see, we had to make custom extension links here that we just soldered on, and we bundle everything together. We do everything professionally here. We use all of these zip ties to make like a nice, neat package. And here's another view of my Snowflake Cascade from the roof here. Now you can see one thing I did too that was kind of clever. I tied it with, you probably can't see it, but there's a really thin wire right there running up to the other palm tree. And there's the 45-degree elbow there, and we had to run a bolt through it after a storm, force the two sections apart. It's like my yard seems to break every law of physics. Every year I find new laws of physics that I have to deal with. It's just amazing, the forces of nature and how they'll trash your display. So people drive by and they see this perfect display and they think everything's hunky-dory, but man, this thing's just held together by a wing and a prayer, tape and wire. One last look at the top roof. Here's my Santa inflatable up on the roof there. I'll go up there in a minute and I'll show you how it's all secured up there. I get a lot of questions about how I secure all of my stuff to the roof, and let me tell you, we get some pretty nasty winds here in December, so I have to do a really good job on this, and it's got to stick. It's got to work the first time. There's my countdown to Christmas clock. You can see it saying ho 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 now that it's already past Christmas. I get a lot of questions about these too. These are my wreaths and my candles that are along the garage, over the garage door here. I had bought these back in '94 from the old Builder Square, which was a Home Depot competitor. And these had incandescent lights in them at one time. And I eventually, once they all died out, I drilled out new holes and added a lot more holes and put more LEDs into them. I just switched them over to LED. Here's an excellent one right here, the candle here, just super bright. And then here's a cool little sign I got from Sam's Club.
I'm outside, Kristen. Oh.
This was a wreath that was given to me by a lady I know at Food for the Poor. It's a local agency who I sometimes help out through the Mercy Ministry program. And I just added these ornaments onto them. And I have a green bush here with just, I don't know, there's probably 700 or 800 green LEDs on here. You got to put a lot of lights to make something look good. Well, everybody that comes by the house always comments about these icicle lights that I got, because they're these really bright blue LEDs and they're really gorgeous. I got them at Costco about 5 years ago, and you can still find them online. They're Kurt Adler. They're made by Kurt Adler, and you just type in Kurt Adler icicle LED on eBay and you'll probably find them. Here's another one of my giant oversized plastic ornaments that I got from a Christmas store in Miami. These are really cool. They're big. They're about 18 inches. I got them for the daytime because they make the house look like a winter wonderland. Okay, we've moved up to the roof now. We're on the roof over the garage, and this is where all of my snowflakes are and my strobes. You can see them all piled up and they're flashing off like crazy. And it's a kind of a clever idea I came up with to hold all of these snowflakes in place, because you know, you want to be able to not have to come up here every day and fix them. So what I did was I buy these metal brackets at Home Depot or Lowe's. They both sell them. These are bookshelf brackets. They go for about $2. And what I do is I just kind of wedge them under the roof tile there. You just do it with a little rubber mallet. It works out very nicely. And then if you can see, let me zoom in here for you. What I do is the very top of the bracket is a little hole there, and I use one of these zip ties to tie the snowflake on there so it ain't going nowhere. I mean, look at this puppy. He's stuck. He's not moving. And here comes Santa Claus. But guess what, folks? Before Santa came, Jeff had to come first. And what I did was I found some spots on my roof where I would I drilled a little hole. Now, I already had a cracked tile here, so no big deal. Anyway, I drilled a hole right there, and with a masonry bit, and just put one of these eye hole screws in there. And I did that in a couple of other spots around here too. And just use that to hold my high tension wires in place. Then what I did was, right here at the base, you can see that I just put one screw in. That's all I did. Just nothing really professional here. I don't get paid to make it look pretty. Just one screw keeps the base from sliding around, and that's the key. You want this thing to come up the same way it went down every day. So there's more of my snowflakes. And here's the view from up top. There's a couple more of my larger ornaments for daytime pleasure viewing. One of the top questions I get is, how do I put that inflatable up on the second roof? Well, when you're on the lower roof here, it's very easy to just step right up and climb up all the way up to the top of the roof, where I did the same thing here. More eye-hole hooks screwed into the ground, to the tile. And also his base is bolted down as well. And there you have it, 2 inflatables. By the way, the view from up here is just unbelievable. What a panoramic vista we get of our whole neighborhood. I can even see the landfill 5 miles away. As a matter of fact, you can see it right there between the trees, right through those 2 cement telephone poles. Maybe I should contact the city and see if they'll let me synchronize the landfill. What do you think? There's my neighbor's pool. And then up here in the back of the house, right at the very peakity peak of the roof, the top of the pyramid here, I have another one of my mini trees that's just connected to one of the channels, and a couple of snowflakes. These are just to grab the attention of the people driving by here on Holiday Springs Boulevard. A lot of people say they found out about my house just by seeing the lights on the back. So the view from up top here is just astounding, especially at night. Now this here is the roof over the front door. And right there is where I have my Ramsey 30B FM transmitter. And here's the close-up shot of it. The reason why I like this one so much is it's got digital tuning, folks. No more analog tuning or trying to figure out or guess where it's at. You know exactly where it's at, 100.9. That's the best part about this thing. And it locks. It's got phase lock loop too. And these are my Olympic light rings that I made out of rope lights. And these are really cool. These icicles I bought at Costco, and I'm mad that I only bought 1 box because I can't find them anymore. Bought them back in August, but they're super, super white at night, and everybody loves these things. And this is pretty cool. This is how I ran the rope light up the corners of the roof as it goes up there on the ridge to form the borders. This was kind of interesting. This is cardboard. This is thick 1/4-inch cardboard that came out of a grill, my gas grill that I bought from Costco. So all these pieces were in there as padding, and I decided to use them, confiscate them for this purpose here. And all I did was I just screwed the little the clips on there. See? And that's what's holding them on there. So it's almost pretty perfect straight. I didn't have enough of that cardboard stuff to go around, so what I did was I just used the good old trustful blue tape from Home Depot and taped the stuff along the tops there. Before I head down the ladder, I wanted to show you this cool thing I did on my back roof here, right over the porch. These are called Santa's runway lights, and these grab a lot of attention from the cars driving by on Holiday Springs Boulevard here behind the house. They look really cool. I'll show you what they look like at night once it gets dark. And as it starts to get darker, you can see the lights make more sense now. Oh, so let me show you the lights here. These are really cool. It just looks like a bunch of candy. Now at day, this looks like just a pile of garbage, but at night, this is absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a bunch of jewels. Okay, now we're looking at this wooden box I built that houses 3 LED floodlights. These floodlights are used to shine right here on the garage door at night here so that everybody can see my mural, okay? Weather protection mechanisms. I always cover up all my major outlet areas here with these big plastic totes. And here on the left side of the driveway, you can see I made a river of white LEDs, and the same thing, these were all done on a screen so that they all stay visible. You pay a lot of money for LEDs, you don't want to lose any to the grass. At night they don't even see the screen at all. Another one of my weatherproof boxes, and of course this is my nerve center right here. This is the main controller box here. This is the one that talks to all of the other boxes. So he has a dual job. He's a regular Lightorama controller as well. And this one here is instead of running from the computer like everybody else, I run mine off of the SD cards. So I program the sequences and the music files onto the SD cards, and then the SD card plugs right there onto the main board there. So all the sequences are stored on that card, and you just turn it on and it runs in an endless loop. So I got about 25 songs on there right now, and that's the audio output coming right there. And those two cords there are going to take that audio up to my Ramsey transmitter up on the roof. So people always ask me, that's the #1 question, how do you beam the music to our cars? Well, that's how we do it. We take it right out of the soundboard there, and it goes right up to the transmitter. So that's what it looks like with the lid on. As usual, we lock everything around here. So there I am. There's my Lightorama controller, and it talks to the other controllers through these green cables. These are Cat 5 Ethernet cables that come out, and they go into each one. They go serially from one box to the next. So this controller sends all the instructions down the line to the other controllers. And then I built this wooden stand here to help it stand up on its own, very nice and sturdy. I was thinking of building a box lid to go completely over it to protect it from rain, if rain ever blows in. This is my blue LED bush. I believe there's about 800 LEDs on here. And the way I do it, here's a secret, here's a good tip for you. You lay down net lights first, and then you lay down, you know, minis, teardrops, and then the micro lights. I like to mix all the different sizes on there. Gives it a kind of a nice random, spherical, almost a galaxy-like look. And then I did something similar over here with the red bush. These are like C7s and minis mixed together, and a couple of net lights on there as well. Then I did the same thing over here in the hedges with the whites. These are white net lights. I believe there's 5 or 6 of them on here. And then I laid a few down across the top. And the same thing you can see here. This is another really great trick that you can use for bushes. So anybody decorating bushes, pay attention here. What I do is I lay down screen over the top and let it hang down the front of the bush. That way, just like with the grass, your lights stay right on the top, always visible. They don't get lost in the bush. You pay a lot of money for LEDs, folks. You don't want them to be wasted being invisible behind the leaves and grass blades. I almost forgot to mention this garland here on the garage border here. This was an old garland that I've had for like 15 years. I bought it, I think, at Target. And then I probably got about 7 or 8 strings of LEDs that we just spiral wrapped around it. They look really nice. And then these are ornaments that came in a big package at Costco a few years ago. These are about 6-inch, 7-inch ornaments. It's these extra little touches that really make it look nice. Plus in the daytime, it's what really adds to that winter wonderland. And here's a close-up shot of the candle again. I did. Super bright white so lights. People always ask, how do we anchor the arches? What I do is I buy these 1/2-inch thick rebar rods at Home Depot. There it is right there. You can see it. And I always like to paint them black just to get rid of all the rust and stuff on them. And that way they're easy to handle from then on in. And then I pound them into the ground at a 71-degree angle from the floor. So it's almost vertical. And then pound them in about halfway, and then you just run the PVC pipe right over it, like this. See? Works best when you have 2 people doing it. One guy to guide it on there, and the other guy to just hold up the arch. So my arches are pretty dense. I did 200 lights per channel on these. That's why they're just so dense. But at night they look real brilliant. This one's awesome. I got this just before Christmas, 50 off. Yeah, I built Bellagio fountain poles of all sizes. Here's a tiny little 3-footer. And all the kids that come by point out the Grinch. They love the Grinch. Okay, so here we are again at night. Darkness is falling, and here's what our display looks like at night. And the gingerbread man. Okay, so here we are in the back, and these are my blue LED icicles that I talked about before that I bought at Costco. And here's our left side of the driveway with our